Hi, good morning, psych students. I'm here today on, this was Tuesday this week, talking about motivation theories, evolution, instinct, hierarchy of needs, a lot of stuff like that that drive us. But today, the main focus is motivation and something we all deal with a lot every single day, hunger. Okay, and the different biological and sociocultural things that influence hunger. And we mentioned drive reduction theory it was on the crash course yesterday, and it was on the notes on Tuesday. The idea that we're all driven to satisfy basic biological needs. You didn't get more basic than hunger. So looking at your notes, you should get those out. And we'll be talking about the vocab that goes along with hunger and motivation. So I guess the first one on there is glucose. A lot of this stuff might be familiar to you. When we're talking about glucose, we're talking about your blood sugar levels. Okay, so blood sugar levels in your body, that's glucose. We all probably, I guess it'd be fun to be in class with you guys right now to ask how many of you get hangry. And by hangry, meaning you have wild mood swings related to hunger. A lot of that has to do with your blood sugar levels. For instance, Mrs. Bowden, my beloved wife, is downright terrifying when she's hungry. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have experience with that, where your blood sugar levels drop, and as a result, you get cranky, you get moody, you get emotional, things like that. And a lot of it has to do with blood sugar levels. You increase your blood sugar levels, you get happy, your energy increases. Think about, for Office fans, there's the episode Pretzel Day, where Michael Scott has a pretzel with everything on it. And after that, he's running around the office, kind of on a sugar high, and blood sugar levels. Now, insulin, next term in your notes, influences your blood sugar. It really regulates your blood sugar levels in your body. Insulin is produced by, anyone know? The pancreas. Okay, so one of the glands we talked about last semester in Psych of the Mind. And the pancreas regulates how your body uses blood sugar, uses by releasing insulin. And it's useful to know that there are a couple different problems we can have with the pancreas. If the pancreas doesn't produce enough insulin, that can cause the development of diabetes. And if, which is why diabetics have to take insulin on a daily basis to help regulate their blood sugar levels. If your body produces too much insulin, you don't have enough, you can develop what's called hypoglycemia. We're looking for an example of that from a fun movie. If you've ever seen the movie Paul Blart Mall Cop, a true classic of the modern era. And in that movie, I believe it's the first one, he's having a meltdown because his body isn't producing enough blood sugar. He doesn't have enough blood sugar. He produces too much insulin, so he has to eat a lollipop off of the bathroom floor. He has hypoglycemia, and that gives him the energy to continue to fight crime. Now, in your brain, so you think about basic level blood sugar levels regulated by insulin produced by the pancreas. Your brain plays a role in this too. The hypothalamus tells you when you're feeling hungry, tells you when you're feeling full. The hypothalamus is the part of your brain that helps you maintain homeostasis. And so they've done different experiments. I wish I had the textbook with me right now, but they damaged a mouse's hypothalamus and it could never tell when it was full. And so the mouse just kept eating and eating and eating until it became like a pancake mouse. Most adorable. It's the best picture in the entire textbook. I look forward to returning to school so I can show it to you guys. So hypothalamus helps us maintain homeostasis by telling us when we're hungry, when it's time to eat, and then when we're full, when it's not time to eat anymore. Okay, so that's kind of your brain and your body regulating your hunger. In terms of set point theory, next term on there. The set point theory makes sense if you've ever seen anyone try to go on a diet. And oftentimes, the first 5, maybe even 10 pounds come off kind of easy. And then it gets difficult, increasingly difficult to continue losing weight. Or if if you are one of those people or you know one of those people who can eat and eat and eat and it doesn't seem to affect them at all. Okay? They don't seem to gain any weight. Set point theory has a lot to do with that. The idea is our body has a natural weight that it wants to maintain. Okay, and there are lots of ways you can do this. It goes along with metabolism in a second, but it's basically the idea that your body wants to be. If you weigh 150 pounds, and you're making sure you eat enough, you're exercising, things like that, your body might just want to be 150 pounds or 180 pounds or 120 pounds. And that it can be difficult to go a little bit above that. It can be difficult to go a little bit below that. That set point theory. A lot of that is determined, as I mentioned, by metabolism, your basal metabolic rate. Basal metabolic rate, how quickly do you burn through energy? And how quickly does your body use up calories? Some of you, I'm sure, as high school students at the top of your game, very fast metabolisms. So, Ryan can have a chicken wing eating contest at Buffalo Wild Wings with, I don't know, his dad. And Ryan will just burn through the chicken wings really fast because he has a fast metabolism. That's not always going to be the case as you get older. Your metabolism slows down. Does anyone remember what gland in the body helps determine your basal metabolic rate or metabolism? The thyroid gland. The thyroid gland, are located in your throat, releases hormones that help regulate your basal metabolic rate. Okay, so a lot of our weight and our hunger has to do with metabolism. Some people, could eat, I don't know, an entire pizza and they just burn through it like that. 20 minutes later, they're ready for ice cream, things like that. Other people, like for me, as my metabolism slows down, if I eat maybe 1.5 slices of deep dish pizza, it takes my body a long time to process that. It burns. I won't be hungry for like 2 days after that. Okay, that's basal metabolic rate. Okay, so other factors, so it's kind of the biological factors. You've got, blood sugar levels, glucose, and insulin. You've got the set point theory, your body wanting to weigh a certain amount, the hypothalamus telling when we're hungry or full, basal metabolic rate telling us how fast we're going to burn through food. But there are sociocultural factors involved in hunger as well. And you don't need to, there's not really a list, but you can think of lots of examples of how cultural factors and social factors influence our hunger as well. Because we've all eaten when we're not hungry. You've all gone to grandma's house and you've already eaten dinner, you've already eaten dessert, and here comes grandma with her famous apple pie or grandma with her famous chocolate chip cookies. There's social pressure there. You have, if you don't want to hurt grandma's feelings, okay, so you eat even though you're not hungry. Or, look at an example, let's say Clarissa and Leia go out to dinner and they go to Chili's. So they get a nice meal at Chili's, then they go to the movies. Well, when you're at the movies, you got to have a snack. Okay, so they each get a bucket of popcorn, and then afterwards, they don't want to go home yet, so they go to Oberweis for ice cream. Okay, and you end up eating like 3 different meals in a 4 or 5 hour period. Okay, and that's a sociocultural factor. So it would be peer pressure, cultural pressure, things like that, often leading us to eat either more or eat less than we anticipated. So, think about a lot of things in our culture influence. A lot of it has to do with what the culture eats as well. If you grew up in Wisconsin, your diet's going to have a lot of cheese in it, and the official drink of Wisconsin, beer. Okay, so, things like that are going to influence your caloric intake as well, how much you eat, the kinds of food you eat. It all plays a role. And unfortunately, on the negative side of it, if we talked about sociocultural factors kind of influencing us to eat a little more, there's also media pressure, idealization of supermodels, things like that might cause us to eat less. And so you have the 3 factors, or 3 illnesses at the end of your notes that all deal with not eating enough or trying to maintain a weight that's not healthy. First one you have is anorexia nervosa. Now, anorexia nervosa is an eating disorder characterized by self-starvation and an obsession with becoming obese. Okay, so one of the tragedies of anorexia is this really distorted body image, where I'll give you an example. Here's my hand right there. You pinch this little bit of skin off, and somebody suffering from anorexia nervosa would say, well, that's fat. I need to lose that fat. Okay? Because they become so obsessed. And this is something, long family history in my house with it. A person once told me that she would rather die than be obese. That's some scary stuff right there. Okay, so anorexia nervosa, characterized by obsessive limiting of your intake of calories. Bulimia nervosa, on the other hand, you are eating, but as you probably remember from health class or other things you've learned over the years, is the binge purge cycle. So oftentimes there's eating, maybe even eating a little more than anticipated, but the purge comes afterwards. And it's harder sometimes to detect that one. With anorexia, you have significant weight loss in a short period of time. Believe me, you don't always lose the weight right away, and it does appear to be normal because you are eating. Though I had a friend in college, one of the ways we knew that she was struggling was because of her teeth. And we noticed the enamel was getting worn down. It was very stained. Well, it was being stained by stomach acid because she was binging and purging. Body dysmorphic disorder, and the last one, doesn't count as an eating disorder. It's classified as an obsessive disorder. But the basic idea is that you are obsessed with a perceived flaw in your body, or in your face, or anything like that. You have an obsession that there's something definitively wrong with the way you look, and you become fixated on that. So, give an example from the show Nip Tuck. There was an episode where a girl who was a white supremacist was obsessed with becoming as pure as white snow, and just couldn't deal with the fact that she wasn't super white. So she did the only sensible thing. She dumped bleach on her skin. Not a good idea. Don't do that. But that would be an example of body dysmorphia. And so for all three of these, obviously there's therapy available. Oftentimes with all three, you might need anti-anxiety as well as antidepressants, because the anti-anxiety will help with the obsession part of it. Antidepressants helping to boost serotonin levels will help with a lot of it comes from self-loathing, boost the serotonin, boost your mood. That'll help as well. But there's lots of options out there available. I'll link after I post this video. I'll link some more information on eating disorders and how you can get help with them. And so that's motivation and hunger. So as you can see, lots of biological factors and psychological factors influencing how we eat and what we eat. Okay? So if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow and we'll talk about motivation and work.